Hi, I want to talk to you today about when the battle finds you, when the battle comes to you. I know many of us today, we just want an easy life, we just want to get on with life. We want to do our 9 to 5 jobs, we just want to look after our families, our homes, we don't want anyone to bother us. And I totally get that and I understand that. But sometimes, no matter how good you are and how careful you are in life, the battle just sometimes seems to find you. And I'm going to share a story with you, something that happened when I was 15 at school. And for no reason whatsoever, this lady, this young girl, decided to take a strong dislike to me. I'm 15, I'm skinny, I'm scrawly, and I'm cowardly. And I like to keep myself to myself. And, I wasn't very popular at school. This girl, her name was Karen, and she was older than me, so she was 16, bigger than me, stronger than me. And for some reason, word went round that this girl, Karen, wanted to have a fight with me. She wanted to meet me after school and she wanted to physically harm me. She wanted to beat me up. So I was told of this. And eventually I had to go and face my problem. So I asked Karen, I says, Karen, I don't understand. Why do you want to fight me? Why have you picked on me? I've done nothing. I don't even know you. Why would you want to fight me? And she looked me square in the face and she says, I don't like you. And I'm like, but I don't know you. And she says, nevertheless, I'm going to fight you. And she had all sorts of names that she wanted to call me and why she thought she wanted to fight me. She wanted to fight me because she thought that I thought I was someone special, which was not true at all. But sometimes, no matter what you do, even though you try to hide, even in a school, trying to mind your own business, the fight sometimes comes and finds you. So after school, I did my best to run away. I did my best to hide from this girl, Karen. I even got myself into trouble to get a detention, to be detained an hour longer. But what had happened was I was in detention this one day, and there was a group of girls looking for me afterwards, and the word got round that I was in detention, so they waited for me after school. I was terrified. One of my very good friends, Eve, who is still my friend today, came up to me and she says, they're looking for you and they want to fight you. There's a few girls out there with Karen and they want you to fight Karen. And I was like, I really just want to be left alone. Why don't they just leave me alone? I don't understand why this has happened. She goes, but the crazy thing is, something's just took a weird turn. She goes, everybody now has decided that they're not on Karen's side, but they're on your side. They no longer like Karen. And that gave me a little bit of comfort. So I thought, right, I took some Dutch courage and I went up to the grounds where everybody was. And I saw Karen. And my knees began to shake. I didn't understand what was happening, why she took a disliking to me. All I knew was I wasn't getting out of this fight. This fight came to me for no reason whatsoever. And life is like that. Life sometimes comes to us. There's so many fights, so many storms that come to us that we didn't ask for. Things come knocking on life's door that we didn't ask for. So when I got there, I remember this man just turned up out of nowhere like an angel sent from heaven. And he stood by me. And he was the only gentleman that stood by me with my friend Eve. And he said, are you going to fight this young lady, Karen? And I said, no, I don't want to fight her. I just want to go home. And he says, right, you're not leaving here because you know they want you to fight, so you're going to have to fight. So he handed me, and never forget this, he had a dog with him and he handed me a steel knuckle duster. And he says, what I want you to do, because I want you to put this knuckle duster around your wrist and I want you to hold it. And I want you to hit her with this. And I says, I don't even want to fight. Why would I want to hit her with this knuckle duster? And he says, you listen to me. He says, you take that knuckle duster and you hit her. And he said, and you keep hitting her and you do not let her breathe. Those words sunk in my head. I just thought, I just want to get out of this fight as quickly as I can. So what I thought was, right, I'm going to take this man's advice and I'm going to hit her and I'm not going to let her breathe. So this can be over and I can go home. So the fight begins. Everyone's shouting, "Rah!" And I'm like, all I can hear is fight, 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 fight. So I'm there with this knuckle duster and I'm waiting for her to come and hit me. And she's just looking at me and I'm right. I'm going to have to hit her first. So I grabbed I had this knuckle duster and I began to pound away at her. And I remember the man's words when he said, hit her with this knuckle duster and don't let her breathe. So what did I do? I began to pound at her, kick at her, punch at her. I began to hit her, and I remember not moving, and not for an inch did I move, did I flinch. I never stopped, and I remember not letting her breathe. I just kept going at her, going at her, going at her, and going at her. And I thought, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to let up. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going at her until she's had enough. And I must have been going like a crazy woman, a crazy girl at that time, 15-year-old. And I remember at the time she had been knocked down, she couldn't move. And then I backed up and I got up and I said to her, right, I'm going home. She was injured, she was crying, she was on the floor. And it was terrible. All I knew was that she wasn't going to harm me again. I grabbed the knuckle duster and I gave it back to the young man. I went, thank you. And everybody was looking at me and she was just curled over. She couldn't move. And reason why I'm telling you this story is because sometimes, just like that fight came to me, fights come to us in life, storms come to us, things that we don't ask for, problems. Could it be financial problems that come to us, relational problems? And we think, why is this happening? Why has this fight come to me? Why is this happening to me? I'm just carrying on in life. I'm minding my own business. I'm not out there to hurt anybody, but for some reason, these storms, these problems, these struggles keep finding me. And I feel as if I'm in a constant struggle and a constant fight. And I want you to know that as long as God is on your side and God is with you, and as long as you are a child of God, you've got to understand that we are in a battle, and the fight, we don't have to look for the fight. The fight will look for us. We are in a spiritual battle. And the fight comes to us whether we like it or not. So my advice to you is buckle up and just get ready to get in the fight. We're not getting out of this fight. You might as well put on that spiritual knuckle duster and go hard at the enemy and don't let him breathe and keep at him and knock him out. Every blow that he comes, use your spiritual weapons, use your prayer, go on your knees and keep hammering heaven and don't stop and fight these battles the right way and don't give an inch to your worries, to your fears, to your struggles. Pound at them until all they hear is the word of God. Knock them out with prayer. Knock them out with the word of God. Knock them out with fasting. Don't give up. Don't let up. Keep going. Don't let the storms of life come to you, bring the fight to you and dictate to you. Take the fight to the enemy. Take the fight to your storms. Take the fight to your struggles. Take your fight to everything that says to you that you cannot and you will not, you cannot obtain. Okay? Take the fight to the enemy. Put on your spiritual knuckle duster, just like I had to. Yes, I was afraid, I'm scared. And sometimes we just want to have a quiet life. We just want to back away. We don't want to have problems, financial problems. We don't want to have relational problems. People come against us. But you know, our battles are all spiritual. And they manifest into the natural. So I'm going to say to you, sometimes the fight comes to us. So you've got to get in the fight. Make up your mind today that you're not going to back away. You're not going to cower away and try to run away from the fight and be detained like I was in detention with other things. Because you just delay the fight. You always delay the fight. The fight is not going away. We are in a spiritual fight. The Bible tells us that we do not wrestle with flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in the heavenly places. Put on the whole armor of God. Take up that spiritual sword. Take up the weapons of our warfare, the shield of faith, and keep going. And do not let those storms win. Batter them. Punch them. Kick them. Whatever you have to do, don't let up. Don't let the enemy breathe. Don't let him come at you a second time. Let him know that he's going to go away bruised. Story. At the end of the story, the young girl that wanted to fight me couldn't come back to school because her ribs were so hurt, were so damaged. And all the girls that were on her side lifted their head up and they said, "We respect you." I was a skinny, scrawly 15-year-old. I wouldn't even lift my head up high. But when I actually took on the challenge, even though I didn't want to fight, the fight came looking for me. But I fought. I stood and I fought. No matter how scared you are, stand and fight. Take up your spiritual weapons. Pray. Fast if you have to. Take up the word of God and you keep swinging on that cord. Just like David, when he found a stone and a sling, swing on that cord and take down those giants, take down those storms, take down those fights that come against you with the word of God. And you know what? You're going to win. But don't let up and don't give up, just like I didn't when the fight came to me. Don't give up. Do not let your storm breathe. Keep hammering at it with the word of God. You're going to win. God bless you. I'll see you next time.